This is the brand new Luba 2 all-wheel drive robotic lawnmower, and right now it's behind me cutting a field with grass that was over 2 feet tall. Today I want to put this mower to the test and see how well it performs in an off-grid scenario. I'm talking 100% solar power, limited internet connection, and fields with rugged terrain and lots of obstacles. Now for those of you who are new, we've been converting this abandoned Home Depot shed into a house. And when we started this project, it was just an abandoned shed on 22 acres of untouched land. There was no power, no internet. We actually just had our power installed a couple weeks ago. And today they actually came and ran the fiber. You can see it's not even connected yet. But to challenge myself, I want to try to power the Luba with only power from a simple solar power system. And we're going to use only internet from a mobile 4G hotspot with internet that is really bad. So let's get started by installing our solar power. So in the last video, we installed our storm guard. It's a leak barrier because we're getting ready to put on a new metal roof. And so we took down the old metal roof and took off the solar panels that we had set up. And today we're going to take those solar panels and install them on our tool shed. It's not really the ideal angle for the solar panels, but I'm just gonna try it. I think it should get enough power to power the Luba. So let's get up there and get them wired up and find a spot to install the solar power system. So we actually did an entire video on this simple solar power system setup. So I'll put a link to that. It goes into depth of everything you need to know. But I'm pretty much just gonna set it up in the exact same way we had it. So we're really just moving the location of it. I think we had it set up as 2 sets of parallel. All right, so I don't remember exactly how we had our panels hooked up. So I'm just gonna draw it out again real quick just to make sure I get it right, because I don't wanna hook things up wrong. This solar stuff is really simple. So pretty much the only equation we need is that power, which is in watts, is equal to amps times the voltage. And so we have 4 100-watt panels, and I need to figure out how to connect these. So there's 2 different configurations we can put them in. One would be parallel, where, let's say there's 2 panels, positive, negative, positive, negative. So we would connect them positive to positive and negative to negative. And in this configuration, the voltage will stay the same, but the current will double because there'll be 2 panels. And then there's also series. We would go positive to negative on the next one, and then so it would double the voltage. So it'd be the same, on this one it'd be the same current but double the voltage. So we had two pairs that were in series, and we put that whole thing in parallel. So these 2 go together like that, and these 2 go together like that. And then so this, here's our power to our charge controller, and we'll take the positive of both of them and go into that. And then for our negative, the negative of both of them go into that. And so one more thing I forgot to mention about this. The reason we did this configuration instead of in series is because when we did it in series, the panels actually started overperforming what the advertised rating was, and that voltage was exceeding the maximum input voltage of our charge controller. So we switched to this configuration to keep the voltage within the range of our charge controller. This is a really terrible drawing. On my other video where we talked about this, we actually did some illustrations to show this stuff, but this is more just for me to remember how we had it hooked up. So now that I know, I think I'm gonna rotate them how we had them before so that it's easier with the length of wire and I don't have to add anything. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get these moved, and then we'll be ready to start installing the charge controller down in the shed. Okay, so we just use magnets on these, which makes it so easy to mount them, especially if you're moving them around like this and getting it figured out. So, this one. Now I just have to hope that this wire will be long enough to get where I need. We got a lot of stuff in here, so I'm definitely gonna have to pull some stuff out before I can get this thing installed. I mean, it's a tool shed, so that's what it's for. Got some gas and all kinds of random stuff in here. All right, so the goal here is to find a place to install this. We had this thing crammed in a corner, and I wish I would have recorded me trying to get it out because it was kind of tangled in there. We mounted all of our charge controller and everything on a board that hangs on the wall, so I'm thinking either right here, if it can fit with that shelf, or maybe over there in the corner somewhere. Guess I just gotta start pulling some stuff out. Okay, so I'm hoping this will just fit in the corner. Oh, perfect. That is gonna be perfect. That saves me a lot of work because I can just put it right here at the entrance and not have to move all this stuff. I can do that. Chainsaw. Dizzy dunker. Another chainsaw. We have so many chainsaws out here. Seems like you can never have too many chainsaws. Random sketchy wire. Bag of chains. Diesel and gas. Not gonna need as much as that anymore with the electric lawnmower. The sawmill toolkit. More gas. Big saw. And the old reliable generator. Thing's going off-roading. There we go, and I think I can put it right here, and that actually works out pretty perfect because I have the garage for the Luba right on the other side, so won't have to run power very far. We built this shelf for our gas tanks with some poplar that we milled. It's been holding up pretty well, so we might end up building a battery rack. Not sure if I'll do that today or if I can find another workaround. But yeah, I think I'm ready to hang up the bulk of the solar system. These sawmill blades kind of scare me. Do not want them springing open on me. All right, so I'm just gonna guess on where to install this. We'll see if I can do this. It took me and Dad to do this last time, so I don't know, I guess I'll figure it out. You know, I think I have a better idea. Last time we put this board in the middle, but I think I'm just gonna hang it like this. So if I just move that 2x4 up here and then do it like this and secure it in, it should be good enough. So I'll do that. All right, so now that I got this installed, all I'll have to do is run the wire to the charge controller. So we'll put our positive right here on this breaker, and that runs into here. And we'll put the negative on this terminal, and then we'll just have to hook up the batteries, and it should be ready to go. We have power from this inverter. And by the way, if you want to see the deep dive on all of this, I'll link that video. We went over this and built it, and I think this is a really great starting solar system. I think it's going to be perfect for this tool shed. This is like a perfect use case for it. Just enough power to power some, you know, batteries or charger mower, hopefully. But yeah, it's been great. We used it for over a year, and it worked perfect for us. All right, I got the panels hooked up, so now I just have to hook up the batteries and then I can turn it all on. So I got the batteries hooked up in parallel now. So this should be 12 volts. And so I'm gonna do the batteries first. Okay. I guess I probably need to do this breaker too. Could this be 2? Oh, it was just 2. I was on the wrong one. I got everything hooked up. The 12 volt batteries, they're going into the charge controller. You can see it's at 13.6 volts. I can turn on the solar panel and this light should turn on. And now it'll just start charging. And so now the last thing I need to do is just run the cable from the mower to this inverter. And the inverter will convert the DC power of the batteries into AC, which is like what is in the plugs in your house. This should be able to work right now if I just turn that on. And there we go. So now this is ready for something to be plugged in. All right, so I got everything hooked up and running. I have both the power supplies, one's for the mower and one is for the RTK station. They're plugged into a smart surge protector and all that's going to the inverter. It's been a pretty sunny day. It's a little cloudy right now, but I've had no problem keeping this at full battery. So yeah, I'm pretty positive with these batteries that I have that I will have no problem keeping these charged. I can probably charge the mower and then power a lot of other stuff too. So I'm not really worried about running out of power. But yeah, now that I have that set up, the Luba is now 100% solar powered. And so now we can start getting into some of the fun stuff and start mowing with it. All right, so this is the Luba 2 all-wheel drive 10,000. And you can see mine is already completely covered in grass because I've been doing some testing with it. But some cool things about it, it has 2 cameras on it for their 3D vision system. So it's able to see things and not run into them. It also has this bumper on the front and you can see I just set it off. But just in case it bumps into anything, it won't try to run over it. And of course it has all-wheel drive, which is good for rough terrain. And they say it can do some pretty steep slopes. So it says up to 38-degree slope. So we've got some pretty big hills, so we'll have to test that eventually. And then another really good part about this mower, which sets it apart from a lot of the other mowers, is you don't have to set up wires or any physical things to keep it in the zone. You literally just connect to the app and you'll drive it around like an RC car and set the perimeters of where you want it to mow. So we're gonna do that in a second and set up a couple areas that we want it to mow in. And it also comes with this. This is called the RTK station. And that just helps with positioning the robot. So if it were to just use GPS all the time and didn't have any assistance, it might not be accurate enough to be doing perfectly straight lines, or it could have some trouble when it gets under trees and stuff. So having that mounted in a stationary place just helps it get really precise cuts. And so far that has worked out really well for me. I've seen some really straight lines with it, which we'll look at in a second. And so I ran some power to that and that'll just stay permanently mounted right there. I think if you do move this, then you'll have to go reset all the areas you map. So I'm pretty good with leaving it right there for now. And then one more really cool feature that this has is they're about to release this update with something they call lawn printing, where you can have it go mow shapes into your yard. Like you can upload an image and have it mow that image into your yard. So I've been trying to think of some fun things we could do with that, like mow a big subscribe into our field or something like that. And we're planning on using this mower to maintain this big area around their shed for the entire summer. So we're just gonna set it up and hopefully it'll just run on its own and keep everything mowed, because we do spend a lot of time mowing the yard in the summer. You know, this isn't normal grass that you would have at a house. This is literally just a field, and we have some neighbors come get hay from it. So we have weeds that'll just pop up and grow like crazy. So we end up having to come out here and cut it all the time. So hopefully having that Luba over there will save us a ton of work, a ton of time, and we'll be able to spend more time doing fun projects. And this one I have is the Luba 2 10,000, and the 10,000 stands for square meters. So that's bigger than a football field, almost 2 football fields that this thing can mow. So I'm gonna go ahead and set a new area on the app. So I'll basically just drive this thing around like a little RC car and set the area. All right, so I'm just driving it around the perimeter. This is actually a lot of fun. I definitely don't even think it's that much of an inconvenience to do this because I'm having a blast driving it. Oh, and by the way, I'll put links to this in the description. I tried to get a discount code for you guys. I always try to when I'm getting a product from a company, but they weren't able to do it. But I will have an affiliate link, so if you buy it through the link, you'll help support our channel, and we'll appreciate that. And so they also let you map no-go zones. So you just draw a circle around places you don't want it to mow. And I think technically you'd be able to see it with the camera, but I think it just saves time if it's not constantly trying to bump into it or have to move around it and slow down. So I'm gonna go around these tractors and then a couple other objects that aren't gonna move for a while just to make it a little bit easier. And in terms of internet, like I said, we've been using the 4G hotspot for this that has really bad internet. The internet was not fast enough to download the firmware update for the mower, but what I ended up doing was tethering my phone hotspot to the mower, and then it was able to download it. So still it was kind of technically off the grid, and other than that, it's been working great. There's a feature on it where you can view the camera kind of as like a little security cam or just to watch it go. And I've had trouble loading that. But other than that, it seems to be working just fine without internet. But you are required to have an internet connection. It just seems like it doesn't have to be that great. All right, I got it all mapped out. Now it should be mowing around the house. I actually don't even think this task will finish until tonight. So I might not be able to put the result in. But yeah, that is the one downside to this. It just takes a long time to mow. But it's one of those things where you can just let it mow, do whatever you want, and it'll handle mowing and you don't have to touch it. So it's definitely slower, but it still saves you time. So right here is an area I already had it mow the other day, and I did not have to pick it up one time, and it just looks crazy. I don't know if you can tell, but it's striped the whole lawn. It mowed it in both directions. And this is where the grass was over 2 feet tall. I mean, look at the difference in the grass. So this was definitely a field, and there were also a bunch of sticks in the yard, and I kind of picked them up after the fact, so somehow it managed to get over these sticks, and yeah, I didn't have to touch it once. I think it's super impressive that it was able to do all this. Seriously, I think this is the best this has ever looked. Like, I've never seen stripes that are this perfect. Looks so incredible. Oh, and it's both directions. Look, you can see the stripes this way, and then if I stand over here, you can see them that way. That's amazing. And I will say the tall grass definitely slowed it down some. I had it set to the tall grass mode, which I think turns off the camera, and I also had it cut at the max height the first time. And one of the things I was noticing is the mower would push down the grass, and because it was pushed down, it was actually missing some of the blades. There were definitely some little ones every now and then. Like, this is an example of that. Every now and then there'd be one. But it's one of those things where once you mow it once, it'd be really easy for this to maintain it. Really, I probably should have just mowed it with a regular mower first and then just had it maintain it. But I mean, it had no problems. I cleaned it out after, and there was a bunch of tall grass kind of wrapped around the blade, so I took those out. But other than that, it's just done the rest. All right, I'm gonna put one of these bricks in the way and see what happens. See if it tries to run it over. Oh. Oh. Look at that, it just went around it. Oh, it sees me now too, because I'm sitting in front of it. All right, so we have a pretty big divot in the ground coming up here. See how it handles it. No problem. Slowed down a little bit. Nope, didn't affect it at all. We definitely have some pretty big obstacles over here in the log yard, so we're gonna have to test it with that. We're not gonna be able to get to that in this video, but definitely subscribe if you wanna see some more of that. We can show it every now and then, give it updates. Maybe we need to come up with a name for it, so drop your name suggestions of what we're gonna call our Luba. It's gonna be Sage's best friend. All right guys, well we are gonna be doing some more testing with this. I have heard that there's a few bugs with it, but so far for me, it's been great. But if we ever run into something, we'll tell you. But that's gonna be a wrap for today's video. I wanna give a big thank you to everyone that has liked the video and subscribed. And also a big thank you to everyone that backs us over on Patreon. And I'm gonna put a link for the Luba 2 in the description. Like I said, it's an affiliate link, so if you purchase it through there, then it helps support the channel. And I will see you guys next time. What you gonna do? Yeah, you think you're gonna hit me? Oh yeah, you better go around me. Oh, you're going that way, okay.